Hello. Come in. And welcome to another edition of Weird World Weekly. I love that creaking sound because it reminds me of this old radio show that I used to listen to as a kid called the CBS Mystery Theater. Not Mystery Science Theater, but Mystery Theater. It's way, way before your time, Matt.
Go figure.
But they had an opening. Their opening was a creaky door. And the narrator was this guy by the name of E.G. Marshall, pretty famous actor, actually. And his whole thing was, welcome, come in. So I wanted to kind of channel that a little bit today. Welcome to Weird World Weekly, a production of GalacticNetcast.com. I'm Dave. That's Matt. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Dave.
Okay, just making sure you're still there.
Yeah, you froze a little bit, so I waited for you to finish.
Okay, all right. This is the show where we discuss the weird, the odd, the strange, or anything unusual and deliver it to you in 15 minutes or less. Our categories are paranormal, like ghosts and spirits and stuff, mythological subjects, ancient or modern-day mythological stuff, conspiracy theories, or grab bag. That's basically anything that doesn't really fit into the other categories. We'll throw into the old grab bag, and the categories are put on a wheel. We spin the wheel, and whatever it lands on, we pick a story from that category. So, Matt, do you want to do us the honors and spin the wheel and find out what we'll be talking about on this episode?
It's party time, Dave.
All right, give it a whirl. Little sore from working out?
Yeah. Not one of my finest.
Yeah. A little weak. All right, here we go. What are we going to land on this time? Let's find out.
Grab.
That always kills me. Bag. All right.
We should shorten the pause in there so it's a little less uncomfortable.
A little less creepy, a little less. I don't know. All right. So grab bag category. That's the category, and the story this time around. As the clock has started, we've got 15 minutes. We better hurry, Matt. The Pentagon has a zombie apocalypse emergency plan. You heard me right. The Pentagon. That's the seat of our military power in the U.S. The Pentagon has a zombie apocalypse emergency plan. I know that you're curious.
Oh, absolutely.
We've never really discussed this. Are you into the whole zombie thing, like The Walking Dead and other zombie stuff?
I don't really care much for The Walking Dead, but I do I really like the old Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, zombie video games.
George Romero kind of guy.
Yeah, I like old school zombies. Not,
okay.
The zombie fad right now is getting a little played out.
Okay, all right. Well, if it actually happens to happen one day, like the zombie apocalypse, the U.S. military is ready. And not surprisingly, this isn't something the U.S. military is keen to talk about. But Foreign Policy magazine dug up the document, which helpfully tells us because zombies pose a threat to all non-zombie human life, Strategic Command will be prepared to preserve the sanctity of human life and conduct operations in support of any human population, including traditional adversaries. So the plan involves various levels of threat, including one where zombieism turns out to be highly transmissible. Transmissible? Am I saying that right?
It looks right, but we're not English scholars here, Dave.
Yeah, right. Basically, they're saying that the zombieism is easily spread. That's what they're talking about there, with low human immunity. Pentagon planners are rather more creative than Hollywood scriptwriters, it seems, with the subtypes of zombies they are prepared for, including vegetarian zombies. Zombie life forms originating from any cause but pose no threat no direct threat to humans because they only eat plant life. So basically, it's a bunch of zombies running around with the whole, zombie thing that they do, but they don't go after you. They go after plants. Our plants are not safe from the vegetarian zombies.
So, do you think vegetarian zombies wear skinny jeans too?
So they're hipster zombies, is what you're saying.
That's what I was getting at.
And weird hats and facial hair, and they're too cool. They discovered everything before you did.
Yep, they're thick rimmed glasses and slouch beanies. Yeah.
Yep. So other zombies that the U.S. military mentions in this plan are symbiont-induced zombies. They're also on the list, as are evil magic zombies.
Like we said in the last episode, if you're gonna go all in. You know,
No, exactly.
might as well have poo flinging dancing zombies too on the list.
So the evil magic zombies, as opposed presumably to zombies produced through good magic and zombies from space. I'm guessing. Those are two other possibilities. Of course, the most famous zombies from space, or I guess it was people from space that made Earthlings zombies, was that movie Plan 9 from Outer Space. Which is, which if we ever do the school again, we are definitely going to watch that movie for the podcast.
Great.
Okay, so as you can tell, this is probably not serious, right? In the document dated April 30th, 2011, the authors make sure to point out that this isn't a joke, but nor is it entirely serious, saying the hyperbole thank you, the hyperbole involved in writing a zombie survival plan actually provided a very useful and effective training tool. So basically what they're doing is they're preparing for this fictional zombie outbreak, but at the same time, it's a good tool for survival of other things, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a good bad idea. I mean, this could be correlated to other things like viral sort of biological warfare that
Yeah.
results in people losing their minds. I guess. Uh, so just saying zombie survival plan instead of unknown potential biological outbreak resulting in shitstorm. Just,
And it's kind of fun, It's instead of something like really generic and plain and boring and something that we've seen before, the U.S. military decided to get creative and go, hey, zombies are a thing now. People are really into zombies, so let's make this zombie survival plan and put some fun into our emergency preparedness.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's obvious, there's some validity behind it, but I think ultimately it was just kind of a poke at pop culture.
Yeah. Well, there was one other use for this. It goes on to say, planners realize that training examples for plans must accommodate the political fallout that occurs if the general public mistakenly believes that a fictional training scenario is actually a real plan. The authors wrote, adding, rather than risk such an outcome by teaching our augmentees using the fictional Tunisia or Nigeria scenarios used at Joint Combined Warfighting School, we elected to use a completely impossible scenario that could never be mistaken for a real plan. So another reason behind this is they don't want to have a plan for an actual thing that maybe an enemy will find out about and use the information to actually have an attack on the U.S. military. That's what it sounds like to me, at least.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So there's a lot of reasons why they put together this zombie survival plan. And my favorite, I think, and it doesn't really say it here, it's fun.
Yeah, I think it's fun. It's a funny thing to think about.
Okay, so question before we get out of here, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
If the end of the world was here, and you had your choice to live in a post-survival world, what would you rather have? A zombie apocalypse, the robots take over, aliens come from outer space, or some kind of environmental catastrophe.
I'm gonna go with zombies. I
Okay.
feel like it's the most. It's the post-apocalyptic situation in which I am most suited to survive.
Okay. Okay. That makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense. I'm gonna say aliens just because I'm a
because
big alien fan. I'd like to actually find out one day that we're not alone in the universe, even though they want to eat my brains.
well, you take the good with the bad.
Yeah, exactly. Way to have a glass half full. That's awesome.
You gotta find the silver lining.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Weird World Weekly. You can subscribe to us on the old iTunes. We're also on Stitcher and the TuneIn radio app. Just search for World or Weird World Weekly or Galactic Netcasts. You can reach out to us, follow us on the social networks. We're on Google Plus, Twitter for Galactic Netcasts. Also, leave a phone number. That's 805 328 3966. 805 328 3966. Or email galacticnetcasts@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Weird World Weekly. Until next time, Matt, what do you do?
Keep it weird, Dave.
All right, we'll talk to you next time. Getting pretty good at knocking these things out.
They're fairly easy to do.